This it. Hi, guys. I hope you can hear me. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I figured after a week, I didn't know if anybody would come back. Oh, I hope everybody's doing well. I can't believe it's the last day of the month. Where the heck is the time going, peoples? It's an interesting topic today. And we'll get into it in a minute, but it sort of blends in with some of the stuff that's been going on, and we'll get into some of it. I popped on a couple of minutes early, so I just want to give everybody a chance to get in. Look, it's Finola. Fiona. I called her Finola. I had that in my head. There's an Italian thing I was doing beforehand. I'm like, Finicula. No, never mind. I'm not going to. Fiona. So I have the F in my head. See how I keep doing this? I think I'm a little cuckoo. So I'm going to regroup a second. I just want to turn this off. I've been thinking, which is dangerous enough. Oh, hello. Hello, my handsome boy. It's Holy Week for those that are Catholic. And I don't know what Episcopalians do. I don't know what other Christians do. It's also Passover today, so happy Passover. Bacon Bits is here. Hello, Ben. Hi, little witch. I know you can't chat. Thank you for driving, and be safe and just listen. So no distractions. Here, Pupper, take that bone. I gave my dogs a bone to keep them quiet, and they keep swapping bones with each other. I had a friend's child who would call me Fionio instead of Fiona. No, I literally was thinking, I was doing this whole Italian thing with funiculo, and I was like, I don't even know where it came from. So I'm sorry. I was thinking, for this week with the culmination of Easter, it's sort of this proof of hope, at least from what I remember, from what I understand, and that death isn't the end, right? And we talk about that here. But what we're going to talk about is I'm getting comfy. Sorry, guys. I'm all out of sorts. I was hoping I'd be back into myself, but I'm not. Where am I in my thought? When we think of things like bravery, when we think of intentions, we got Baron von Bacon. Oh my goodness, he's been elevated to a baron. Look at you, Bubba Louie. Oh, Richard the White. Oh, I missed something. Somewhere you guys have been having some conversations, and you've been relegated to a new place, Ben and Richard. You guys are funny. But, for me, bravery is one of those words that I think it gets used a lot or misused. And when I sit with it, and I've been doing this for the last 2 weeks, but really last week when I was not feeling well, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I was in a really, really, really dark place. It becomes something that's a little bit more layered, a little bit more intimate. And so I wanted to talk about it because what does it really mean to be brave? And when you're not feeling brave, what does that really mean? So Let's just see who's popping in these first. And now, so guys, I haven't seen you all for a while. How are you? How is everyone? The word bravery reminds me of Boston cream pie. Oh, do tell, why does bravery remind you of Boston cream pie? One of the most delicious treats. And did you know Boston cream pie is not really a pie, it's a cake? Just saying. So I think when you think of bravery, oh, it's a B word. Okay. Ooh, then I would like some bravery right about now. Yeah, I think I could use some of that right about now. Um, Bravery isn't like one single thing, right? I think we know that. I think there's a willingness for truth and responsibility and um I think there's this physical courage that we think of when we think of bravery, firefighters running into the burning building. Good God, how do they do that? That's bravery. It's also a little insanity, but it's bravery. And I had two family members that were firefighters, and so I consider them highly brave. I have police officers in my family. I consider them highly brave. I also I'm the daughter of a butcher. I consider him brave because he's using these big saws and all this kind of stuff, and he's throwing cows on the sides of beef over his shoulder. And you know I just, what does it mean to be brave? Someone is going into danger to protect someone. So what other need is that fulfilling for someone, right? And physical courage isn't only about danger, it's showing up at a doctor's appointment when you're terrified. um It's being brave when you're afraid to step outside of your house and you do it anyway. It's being in the hospital, like someone we know very well and send so much love that now he's home and healthy or on the way to being so, but still being brave to fight it even though you're just done. It's taking the first walk after grief has flattened your ass down on the ground. It's I think physical courage says, I'm not moving. I'm staying. I'm not happy here. I'm gonna go in, but I'm staying. I'm doing it anyway. That's courage. That's just flat out bravery. And then um that's right. Bacon is the nature's candy for a butcher. um Emotional courage, right? When we think about emotional courage, which I think a lot of us underestimate, or at least I did, it's looking honestly at your own actions. And this is where I've been spending a lot of time trying to name what I'm feeling without deflecting, without getting I'm forgetting the word, overly sensitive, or oh, for God's sakes, taking it personally. It's like just observing, naming the feeling without deflecting it, admitting when you're wrong. Hello. How many of us really do that, right? How about letting yourself love or be loved after a heart attack or a heartbreak? That's really where I want to go with that, is heartbreak. I was thinking about that. It's like if you're working on healing yourself, and we're going to talk about all of these, I'm just sort of compartmentalizing what I've been interpreting with bravery and the deep thoughts I've been going through. And it's allowing yourself to move through things instead of locking it away. Yeah, Tina, emotional, it is. I think that's partly what bravery, Karen Suki's in the house. Hello, Karen Suki. Welcome, welcome. I think, it's the emotional courage is our heart saying, I'm going to feel this instead of running from it. And I think I think that's what I needed to do last week is I needed to feel some things. And let me just tell y'all, I really wanted to run. I wanted to rabbit. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to run, rabbit, run. Um, and then we talk about another kind of bravery or courage is moral. It's standing up for yourself, for others, for strangers, for your interpretation of what is right and wrong. Even if it's inconvenient, even if it's unpopular, even if people may not want to be in your circle anymore. Speaking truth in a family that avoids conflict or is conflict. I think advocating or standing up for someone who has less power is really morally courageous and brave. Saying that's not okay, how you're treating that person isn't okay, and it's not all right to stay silent. Um, and I will say that that has gotten me into some trouble. And I think holding what my boundaries are when someone pushes back. And again, having that be okay, right? I'm not going to abandon my integrity. And we see so much of that being reflected in our current world. I don't need to get into the details. I think you're all smart enough to figure out that, you know, the shitstorm that's going on in the world and how do you maintain your truism, your dignity, your integrity, your honor without disrespecting others? And I don't have the answer, by the way. I'm just telling you. It is a huge topic, Karen. I'm going to get into sort of, being MIA last week, but part of it has been triggering to me that, as I want to heal and be a healer, right? As I want to be a truth sayer, but then whose truth is it? And I think I need to be clear it's my truth. This is my opinion. These are my thoughts. These are my evolutions. This is my journey through the muck and mire, right? And when you think about social bravery, and this comes into your community, I went last night outside my comfort zone. So, good girl, Teresa, I was very brave, stepping out in the world. And I went to a benefit for our public garden. We're going to have a public garden for those that can't have a garden or can't start their own garden or want to learn how to have a garden. It's going to improve food security over time, not immediately. And I stepped out of my comfort zone and I was challenged. So I'll be honest. I was invited by somebody who is an acquaintance by circumstance. I admired initially, and I still do. I had some interactions where I had to step back a little bit last evening because at first my feelings were being hurt by a response by this person. And I thought, yeah, it's not about me. And how freaking hard is it not to take shit personally when someone is pushing a button, not intentionally, but it like if I were a cat, it would like wrinkle my fur. It got me all riled up. And so engaging in political conversation, community conversation, social change, I have to learn it's not about being loud or combative. I think for me, it's about being informed trying to speak thoughtfully, and I struggle with that so very much. New York Debs is in the house as well. Thank you for being here. Um, and so, will I show up for the collective, meaning the community? Am I going to show up for everybody? Even if I don't jive, right? So I just want to see if there's any comments. I'm gonna avert my eyes to the comments, and I need my glasses again. Karen said, "This is a huge topic. Most people just stand there dumb or walk away, averting their eyes, like that show. What would you do?" Oh yeah. See, and that's a perfect example, Karen. I'm one of those that I would have stood up and said, "Are you out of your effing mind?" I really, but then it almost conflicts with trying to be this energetic, peace loving, kumbaya singing person. And that's not me. And that's something I've had to face. Healers can heal the vibratory frequency of where they are. Yep. All of us can do that. Yes. Um, Deb says, I need to do that because my camper being moved in the yard next to a pet grave. Oh my Lord. Um, Nothing's jiving for me lately. Sleep messed up, hermiting and healing and letting go. It's never ending. So that's part of where I disappeared to, guys. I'm not sleeping. It's and look, when you have health issues to begin with, even if you are a perfectly healthy person and you're not sleeping, the impact is ginormous. And I'm going to share a little bit about that in a minute. But what are you growling at? Biscotti, please, this is not the time. Come over here. Do you need to go to the bathroom? No, you want the bone. So I'm not sleeping. I don't know if I could say I had to have a come to Jesus moment or, a look in the mirror kind of moment. And I wasn't feeling well, and that's part of it. And when you don't sleep well, you can't regenerate. You can't, especially over time, our bodies require it. It requires rest. It requires downtime, and I think a form of bravery for me, it's not the absence of being afraid or being, or having fear, right? It's my decision that something else matters more. And for me, it's truth. For me, it's safety. For me, it's love, which I'm having a hard time connecting with. It's integrity. It's community. It's justice. It's becoming who I want to be and who I think I am. And sometimes finding out you're not really who you thought you were. And is that bad? Is it an opportunity? And we're going to come back to that. But I I feel like my weakened immune system is because I'm not resting and I can't get rest. And I need to work on that. I have been able to resolve some health insurance issues, so now I can go back and start seeing my doctors again. But how much of it is here, right? It starts right in this little noggin of mine. Um, and and it's accepting and it's choosing to be present rather than avoiding it, right? I have to choose truth over comfort. Sometimes it's not comfortable. Doesn't have to be all dramatic. And yes, I have been known to be a drama queen. It's not always visible. It's not always in your face, and you're not going to get, an applause. Oh, good for you. It's more subtle than that, and it is more transformative, and it is something that I, um, need to dive into. And so, not feeling well, um, and having lots of migraines because I really couldn't even I couldn't bear to talk, let alone sit here and talk to you guys on YouTube. And I didn't feel authentic. How am I supposed to be all yay, rah rah, shish goomba, when I feel like flipping the bird, you know what I mean? And being pissed and not feeling good and raging against that dark night. I know there's a poem, I just can't think of it right now. Um, and so, I'm gonna look at the comments, but I've been even thinking, is YouTube right for me? Is this a place for me? Am I providing any value? Now, I'm not asking for you guys to go and yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't need you to build me up or anything like that. I'm not looking for validation. Um, I have to feel like, is this egocentric? And is that okay? Or is it narcissistic? Oh, pay attention to me, hear what I have to say. I am the wise one. Um, I'm not the wise one. I don't have the answers. Um, and that's something that I need to be, sort of transparent about. Karen says, I've been sleeping. It is ginormous. Yep. Deb says, I feel bad, but that's been dental appointments, doctor appointments, and we take turns falling apart. Oh, yeah, I know. Fiona says, to me, bravery is doing something despite your fear, discomfort, etc., about any given thing or doing the unpopular thing. Yeah. And Deb, absolutely. Every day is a winding road. And that brings us to the Beatles. Long and winding road. Where's Ben? Not going to sing it. And I mean, I think about, people who I admire that I consider brave. Several of you are on this channel right now. Look, you get up every freaking day, and I almost feel like, what do I have to complain about? Some of you all have had challenges that just would slap me silly. So, but it's not about comparing. Also, I have to exist in my world for me. Yeah, Debs, I don't have any more dental benefits. I have to pay out of pocket. I don't even want to go there. I want to curse the powers that be. Dalai Lama, Dalai Lama, Dalai Lama. Yes, we do have to realize life is speeding up, time speeding up, and it feels like the quickening. I would also say that, look, we're about to have a full moon. We're in a tumultuous time. So yeah. I do take melatonin every night now. And the headaches were related to detoxing sugar. Um, that's also kind of the berating I have been going through and using my words, which we'll come back to in a minute. Why would the llama have a deli? Oh, Ben, thank you for making me laugh. So when you think about, I don't always feel brave, but I know when I'm standing up for somebody else, I'm a warrior. And the conversation has to be, why can't I be a warrior for me? Why can't I stand up for me? It's great that I want to do it for other people. Amen. Hallelujah. We can, I've been rehashing Fight Song by Rachel Platten. Does anybody know that song? This is my fight song. It's sort of this personal, cheerleading of getting her power back after feeling small and insignificant. I'm also a Miley Cyrus fan, and her song The Climb just slays me. And it's not like there aren't other I mean, I'm a huge Sarah Bareilles fan, and I'm just thinking females at the moment, but, there's so many, um, songs that you can use to push you to be brave and to remind you that you can be brave. Um, and I don't think we always give ourselves credit because just having the conversation can be brave. And bravery, I think sometimes is walking away from a situation that doesn't support you personally. Where are you going? And so when I was thinking of Don Miguel Ruiz, right? So I wasn't feeling brave. I was feeling defeated. I'm feeling lethargic. I'm feeling, whoa, poor, pitiful me. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. And that's dramatic, but, just to go along with this feeling. And, you know, the first agreement isn't about forcing positivity, but I was taking it as forcing positivity and denying how I was feeling. And I was feeling insignificant because, well, I post, I talk about the 4 agreements, I talk about how we should use our words impeccably, and yet I didn't feel it, right? I'm defeated, I'm not brave, I'm failing. That's just a state of being, right? Um, that's not really it's a wounded spirit, wounds to wisdom, right? And so I think what Don Miguel Ruiz is saying is to speak the truth without self-harm. I'm tired right now, right? Instead of saying I'm just tired. I'm in a low moment. My courage feels quiet today. I don't really feel like kicking ass and taking names and standing up for myself and doing all the things that I keep saying I want to do. I don't feel like the fire horse in the Chinese thing. Oh, Mish is here. Hi, Mish. Let me just jump over to the comments. I'm sorry, guys. I was focusing and yeah, well, withdrawals of sugar does impact your body, your mind, your health. You are detoxing. It is the equivalent of heroin and cocaine, and it's the trigger in the brain that says, "Oh my god, I like this. I must have more." And when you take that away, you're detoxing. And look, if I don't want to be a fluffernutter, I gotta stop the madness. And I can't go into a doctor's office and say, "Okay, yeah, I gained weight, and I don't know why." I know why. I'm not moving. Why am I not moving? Because I'm not sleeping. Why aren't you sleeping? I'm tired. I'm overtired. I'm not using my body enough to be tired. My mental is all fakakta. So, I think that, it does. It's sugar is it's the devil. It's the devil, it's the devil, it's the devil because I love it so much. And I don't really keep a lot of crap in the house, but the crap I do have, yum, yum, yum. And it can be, for me, it doesn't have to be a lot of sugar. I'm not moving. So if you don't get off your ass and you don't move and you don't shake your groove thing and you don't exercise, and I am doing that, but not enough, not enough. And so the depression last week, the sorrow I was feeling, the shame I was feeling, the darkness that was creeping in, and you can only shine so much love and light on it, and then you give it the finger, which is what I was doing. Um, oh, you have care credit? Oh, that's good. I don't have that. Um, oh yeah, making your own pasta is good. And that can be healthy. And I've been going through this whole litany of um, research, because um, some of the foods that we eat aren't really what the label says they are. I just found out Poland Spring water really isn't even from Poland Spring. There's a whole terrible thing going on Poland Spring, and I've been a proponent of it for decades. So to know that I've been drinking water and spending extra money with mislabeling pissed me off. And that goes with pasta. Some of the pasta I found out, and this isn't the time to really bring that up, but I'm going to be talking about it. Did you know kind of facts? And maybe you guys do. I just didn't. Let's see. Don't be. Feeling and being are three different things. I have a guilt complex missing truth wave, but mornings have been rough and I need yeah, so I'm not always able to catch truth wave. The mornings are not good for me. They just aren't. Um, and by the time I get to 9:30 at night, I'll watch behind the scenes because getting involved in the chat, it does two things. It distracts me from really being present with just trying to get into the zone. Um, and then I'm not focused. I'm just, what's the purpose for me? And I get why we want to be in the chat talking. So there's no disrespect. But I don't usually pop in and put my name in. And I haven't been doing it as often because sometimes I'm in bed by 9:30. I might be up at 11 o'clock. But yeah. Um uh I don't keep a lot of crack in the house. No, I don't keep a lot of crack in the house. That's funny. Um Eating more junk than not, looking at more negative than positive, lethargic versus beat the pain. It's all a precursor to my staying in my yuck. Yes, Mish, absolutely. And I think, and we're entitled, and that's part of what I wanted to talk about is that I don't want us, and I don't want to beat me up. It's okay to acknowledge I'm tired right now. I'm eating like crap. Let me take a step back and see why. Why? Because if this was a friend and I was having a conversation with my friend, would I be this hugely disrespectful to my friend? No, I'd be loving and kind. I'd be supportive. You can still be defeated and brave. You can still be tired and show up. You can still feel small but speak the truth. And that's one of the things that Don Miguel Ruiz teaches. And I think you don't need to be a superhero, and I've been trying to be a superhero. I don't know for whom, but that's part of it, right? And one of the things that I've had to sort of reassess is eh, this is where Don Miguel using your words comes in. Instead of saying, I'm not brave right now, he suggested to say, my bravery is quiet today. It's still here, but it's quiet today. Or I'm in a low moment. I'm feeling blue, but I show up anyway. It's still honoring the truth without harming the spirit because part of what I was upset about for myself is that everything that I've learned, I lost in a day and then it spiraled. And then the belittling happened, and then the beating up happened, and then the blah, blah, it just spirals. And I find that it is harder to climb out of the darkness. Um, Mish says, did you know that there are literally not safe for human consumption labels now in progress to be? Yeah, I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me after some of the research I've been doing recently, Amish. Um, oh, Karen, yeah, Victor doesn't expect you till the night. Um, Deb says, yes, if anyone says anything negative, I get sad for them. I came in one morning and found out Chuck Norris died, so I had to leave. Oh, it is. But, I think about his life. Look, that man kicked ass and took names, and then he reinvented himself. And I didn't have to agree with everything in his life, but I admired his perseverance and his ability. He lived a pretty good, darn long life. So, um, yeah, Carmel, I agree. They should have been putting labels on a long time ago. Here's the problem. It's the government. And the government, at least in this country, the United States of America, um, we're about profit. We're not about people. My opinion. So, yeah, I'm gonna just be quiet about that at the moment. Mish says, I am pacing myself more, setting more self boundaries, and allowing myself to be only what I can without being super Mish. Those who love me do not want me to drive myself into an early grave. No, we don't. And, I just had this conversation with a friend of mine literally before I came on air. It's kind of like when you're seeing someone raising kids. Um, so anyone here, I am not a parent, okay? But when you see that a parent is enabling their child not to be self-sufficient, I go crazy because I know life is short, you know? I you know, if you die tomorrow, parent, you have given your child no tools to be successful, no tools to make it through because you did everything. I get that you want to love your kid. I get my parents wanted to love me. They did a little bit of the extreme and just said, they were done. And part of that, I wanted to be done. I wanted to be self-sufficient at 17, 18, and I took control and I took the bull by the horns but that I took the bull by the horns. I had jobs since I was 13, 14 years old. So I think one of the things that, in my conversation was witnessing and not speaking because we can have all the information we want until someone is receptive, until and this is where I believe leading by example comes into play. Being brave enough to say, well, I can be here to listen and support you. And if you want to have a conversation, just know that I'm going to speak my truth. My job as a communicator, as a friend, as a community person, whatever the situation is to just be respectful with those words and knowing when to shut the F up if I'm talking out my arse, right? If I don't know what I'm talking about, shut the F up. Shut the F up. And I think that that's part of it. You, Mish, you've been a lot to a lot of people, and that's a huge blessing, and you wouldn't change that. Kind of like I don't know if I've shared this with you guys from the Reiki teachings. Mikao Usui sort of brought it back to the forefront in the 1900s, and he was giving away healing. But the people kept coming back with the same problems because they weren't engaged in the solution. So when you pay for a service, you are more apt to change behaviors because, like going to the gym. That might be a bad example, but when you pay for it, you're more invested because you don't want to throw away money. And so when he started to charge people for healings, all of a sudden there was a shift because you need to be a partner in your own healing. I need to be a partner in my own healing, in my own journey, in my own evolution. And it's okay if I'm angry. It's okay if I'm disappointed. It's okay. It's okay if I'm not having the best day or week. It's okay to cry. It's okay not to cry. I actually couldn't cry. I wish to God I could have released those tears that I needed to release last week. Um, so I think that being brave can be a quiet moment. That's what I would say, I think. And I think being kinder to yourself is also okay. And um, I did I write it down? Hold on, I want to see if I wrote it down. I have okay, hold on. No puppies, this was not an invitation for you to get all excited. Where is my this has got to be here it is. Um yeah, I think I covered most of that. Just sort of what exactly does bravery mean, and what I think keeping your integrity, keeping the reflection of the mirror, your truth is very important to me. Again, this is I'm no doctor and I don't play one on YouTube, and I'm no expert. This is a journey. This is finding your wounds, and sometimes you get stilted, and sometimes you're stunted, and sometimes you're stuck. What was that story? A man fell into a hole, and somebody came by and said, "Hey, mister, I'm down here. Can you help me?" And he threw down a phone or something. And then another guy came by, and he said, "Hey, father, you know, can you help me? I'm stuck down here." And he said a prayer. And then a friend walked by, and he said, "Hey, Joe, I'm stuck down here in the hole." And Joe jumped in the hole. He said, "Well, what the heck did you do that for?" He says, "I've been down here in this hole before. I know how to get out." And I'm like, that is sort of the thing, is asking for help, or asking, or sharing, or being kind. Not we don't always have to have the answer when we're stuck. Ben says, "Yeah, I'm there this week, low moment, feeling blue." I'm sorry to hear that. And I was going to wrap this around also with Holy Week, and why Holy Week is so important to so many people. And it's about hope, I think. And, you know, um, Richard and I were going to have this conversation, and hopefully we have it soon. When we think about faith and when we think about religion, and I wish I saw something on YouTube not too long ago, talking about God, religion, and how we keep going back to it. I think it was on Next Level Soul. I think it was on Next Level Soul. I'll look into that. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it. And one of the interviewees was talking about the fact that she was a Catholic, and how she loves to still go to church, and she just takes what she needs from it. But that it's not about the religion itself, but when you've been indoctrinated, it's really hard to break that. And for me, Holy Week was really important. I mean, 8 years of Catholic school, and wanting to be a nun, and wanting to be and being a true believer in God. Not necessarily the Catholic Church. I was always a little bit of a rebel that way. And I don't know where that came from. because my mother was not a rebel. My father wasn't a rebel. I've been a rebel since I pretty much came out of the womb. I see injustice and it pisses me off. Where they saw injustice and went about their business. It was okay. It had nothing to do with them. Again, doesn't make them good or bad people, just who they are. But for me, when I see injustice, I become an insane lunatic. And I think, one of the things that Mish is saying in the chat is that, 50 years later, she's taking a little help from her friends. I think there's a Beatles theme here going on. Get by with a little help from our friends. Let's see. I've also been chatting with friends. Yeah, by phone. Excellent. Oh, yeah, loathing texting. So, yeah, I have a couple of friends that I don't want to say prefer texting, but sometimes they don't have the words. But when they text, there's a freedom. So I'll take conversation however I can get it. I think that there are days where if I'm texting a conversation, I do step back and say, why don't you want to pick up the phone? Does it make it more real? Do I have to be more accountable? If I'm texting it, there's a little loophole maybe. So Deb says, here's a good one. My Reiki master is in a funk right now too. So I'm helping her get out of it, which I never thought I could. Oh, you have more power than you think. I don't know you really well. I mean, I'm so pleased that you're here and you've been part of this journey over the last X number of months. But you do have the power. And I think your experience lends power. Our journeys that have kicked us in the ass and we have to climb out of that muck, it's taught us something. For me, it's taught me to shut the fuck up. Sorry to be blunt, but I don't know where I get off thinking that I have answers for others when I can't help myself. Don Miguel Ruiz would say, you can help yourself. So be kind to yourself. You're just in, I don't want to say the down low, but I'm in a quiet space. And so today, I wrote I'm still writing a to-do list because I function and I can climb out of the darkness. Even if I don't achieve what's on the list, it's a start. It's an acknowledgement. It's okay, where are you stuck? And I'll put all sorts of different things on there just as a reminder. The journaling prompts help, I have to say, but there are days where I just want to say my journaling prompt, I just want to say is F off into forever. I'm just so filled with rage. And where is that rage coming from? And where am I directing it to? And if I'm raging at myself, why? Because sometimes raging at others, you're really raging at yourself. You're not raging at someone else. Maybe it's the injustice, but what about that injustice is incensing you, making you banana cakes? More miscommunication than real communication. Yeah, I get it. Finding inner peace challenge for 2026. Well, I talked about that in the beginning of the year. It's also acknowledging my voice and acknowledging what is it that I want to do. One of the things that I've been challenged with is, well, you can't shit or get off the pot if you don't know what you want to do. It's a weird situation to be in when you're on work disability. Your hands are tied by earning a living, because if you go above what you're entitled to, you get penalized. You lose your insurance. There's a lot of things that come into play. I have to remove all of those factors and just focus on what is it that I want to do with the time that I have left here on this freaking earth, whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, 20 years. Please don't be 30 years. But, I say that now, and before you know it, my 80 is going to be the new 70, and 90 will be the new 80. But I think my heart's been a little broken by people in this community, not in our YouTube community, in the world community, and witnessing what I'm witnessing. And it hurts me. And do I really want to be part of something that I just want to go up and smack them like Cher did in Moonstruck and say, snap out of it? All we are saying is give peace a chance. Just popped into my head. I'm telling you, there's a Beatles theme going on. Mish says it's no longer one-sided, though. It's a beautiful experience. I've not really known much until the last few years. Well, we all embrace you. We've been cheerleading you, and I'm dying to hear everything that's been going on. But if we can find inner peace, it extends one more step to world peace. I absolutely agree with that, and I've been struggling with that. I think finding inner peace, trying to walk a mile in someone else's shoes to see where they're coming from, and why did that change so dramatically in 2015, 16, 17? What about this world decided to take off the white hoods and come out into the light with a cruelty I can't wrap my brain around? And am I part of the problem? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Karen Suki says, reminds me of a Nilsson song from The Point. Hello, is there anybody out there? Up there. Yep. Can you hear me? Oh, absolutely. Great tune. And I knew it from Pink Floyd, but I don't know The Point, so I'm not the music connoisseur. Where's our Krumel? He's the music connoisseur. Oh wait, I just realized it's Pink. Okay, there you go. If your cup is empty, you can't give to others or to yourself. We have all emotions for a reason. They all serve a purpose. It's how we decide to use them in the moment. And I appreciate that, Fiona. And I think that's very true. I think that, we're all human. We're human. We're not AI. We're not robots. We're not mechanical. And sometimes our cups are empty. And how do we fill it? And that's why I took last week, besides the fact that I really didn't feel well. And I think that, my immune system is so susceptible to everything because I'm not sleeping. Getting an hour of sleep or 2 hours of sleep a night is not enough. And when you have a heart thing, it's really not enough. Your body doesn't have time to work everything out that it needs to work out while you're resting. And if I take a nap during the day, which I've been so wired and agitated, I haven't been able to rest. So there's no rest happening even during the day. And being exhausted, and then my stomach's bothering me, and just stuff. And my spirit was low. It's low. And this season used to be so joyful for me, as much as it was pensive, and that's not the word I'm looking for. Holy Week was a very powerful time for me when I was a Catholic, when I followed the teachings and not teachings, rituals, because they're really rituals that I loved and that I was part of. And there's a loss, and there's been nothing to fill that. And Easter week brings me to that time and space, regardless of what you believe. Um, for me, the ritual of certain things helped me create a connection to God, to my higher self, to the divine that's out there. And then, I got slapped upside the head and I said, "Well, is there really even a divine? Is this just a big old joke on us?" And, am I really in a freaking matrix with my head plugged into something and I just need to disconnect? I mean, seriously, I had a really rough week last week. Um, oh, cool, Mish, with the DJ and the 45s. Well, I know journaling's hard, Debs, and definitely go to my daily posts. And sometimes it might just trigger something. The reason that I put the journaling prompts out there is just for you to start writing it. And then you may go off on a whole different tangent. And maybe writing it isn't the way for you. Maybe talking into this thing and just saying, you know what, oops, I started talking to my phone. Maybe just talking into the phone and saying, I don't know what I want to communicate. I'm really just feeling, and here's all the things I'm feeling, um, and spewing it that way. Our beautiful Cromel even talked about photography and taking pictures of your feelings, or maybe not. There's a beautiful sunset happening right now outside my window that the DOGs will get to take a WALK after this. Um, and it's humid and moist because we're in spring and we've been getting rain. So it's a little hazy. It's freaking absolutely articulating through a visual of how I'm feeling. Hazy, sort of suppressed. I don't even know if that's the right adjective I want to use, but it's pressing down. And how beautiful that it can be reflected in that kind of light. And sometimes that's just what it is. And I'll tell you, as a way of cheering myself up yesterday, I went and got myself roses because I was like, I needed some beauty and I needed to feel beauty and I needed to smell beauty and I needed to see it. And, so anyway, I went and got myself a $10 bouquet. I was like, in lieu of me buying bagels, in lieu of me buying bread, I bought flowers. So it raised me up a little bit. Dun, 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 dun. Sounds like gratitude journal may be easier. Oh, it's possible. At 48, I became disabled and I'm still not used to it. It feels like everyone else. I feel less than everyone else and not productive enough. So, I know. I mean, I don't know your experience. I know my experience being disabled has really, I was trying to take it as early retirement, but I had a plan for retirement in my head, not for being disabled. And yes, I can walk around and yes, I can, but the exhaustion and the work that it takes to get that heart to move and breathe and pump, and then to have it not be able to be rejuvenated because I'm not resting and I'm not sleeping and I don't feel great. That's when I want to change the words, because when you say the negatives, you live in the negative. And so I'm going to turn that around for myself. I can't speak for you. Look, this is not where I thought I would be. And that's another reality check and a mirror that I have to look into. Okay, it's not where I thought I would be. It sucks, but it's not where I thought it would be. You can't change it, Teresa. What do you want to do now that you're here? You're here. What do you want to do? Can't go back and, oh, I had all these things I had to, oh, no, my life is not the way I thought it would be. I thought I was going to be financially prepared for retirement. I wasn't retiring till 70. I haven't worked since 2019. That went into the toilet. So things aren't, what do they say? You make plans and God laughs, or something like that. Well, I think God's been peeing his pants laughing at me. Somewhere there's a hope, Steve Perry. There's always hope. We just need to find it. Sometimes friends or family have, well, and that's it. But, you know, I think that assumes that you reach out. If you don't reach out and touch somebody's hand, you can't make this place a better place. So anyway, I think that it's been a journey. And so I needed to take some time for me last week. I needed to mourn. I needed to be a pissy pant. And I didn't think I could come on and be a cheerleader for me or for anybody. And I couldn't wrap around all the stuff in my head. I'm glad you feel better, Debs, and I'm going to pray for you every single day for continued health, for feeling better every moment. I mean, I do that for Mike Krumel. Well, he's not my Krumel, but I do this for all of you. I send you with love and light and healing. I want you to be well. And I know the importance of us feeling physically well will change our brain chemistry. I think seeing the sunshine will lift me up, smelling the flowers. I'm finding ways to bring me up. I haven't been as good about reaching out to friends. I can't answer more than that. I just haven't. And I'm not sure why. Yeah, Fiona, sometimes we need the darkness or lethargy to take time away and maybe reevaluate. And that's really what I've been doing. I don't smoke pot. I don't smoke pot. I don't do anything. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't eat gummies. It's not my thing. Soup searching has a whole new meaning with spiritual awakening. Do you mean soul searching? Or did you mean soup searching? Oh my God, progressive Campbell soup. Oh my God, there comes Richard. Walking down says, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I've been taking the puppers for their walks, and I talk and I breathe and I, you never know what kind of wisdom inspiration I might pick up. There you go. I'm sorry you miss your dog. I know. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I don't. Everyone likes AI, but those tools have helped me. Yep, with so many friends. So AI has helped Mish a lot. Yes, and she's done some amazing stuff. And at some point, when Mish is ready, I, want to tap into some of that. Um, and wow, Karen, I had 11 consignment shops and eBay in 2017 and then got sick from Lake Algae and moved to North Carolina. Wow. Mish said, had my own antique secondhand shop on Facebook. But when Bradley got diagnosed, went to hell in a handbasket. Hoping to change that this year, at least a little bit. Yep. Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do? I know that song. um, let's see. I think we're done. Okay. So look, I want to end this on a more positive note and a happier note. I appreciate each and every one of you being here, everybody on the replay. If you are so inclined, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost a thing, but it does help the algorithm. I am not here to generate revenue from YouTube. I originally thought I would, but I'm not willing to go to all the other outlets, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, or I will never do the Twitter verse, to continuously put myself out there. It's a lot of work. And I feel like people will either find me or they won't find me. And either they're going to like this or they're not going to like this. And I'll either continue or I won't continue. For now, I'm on this journey and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to continue to keep journaling and vent and get this stuff out. Maybe the detoxing of sugar is just erasing some of the crap that's been in there. And I'm feeling the feels, all the feels. I'm feeling all the feels. But I'm also using this time, this Holy Week, to be more introspective and to get in touch with my inner divine, because she's there somewhere. And maybe I've kept her buried so deep that, I'm pounding on the door and no one's answering because I put her to sleep and I need to wake her up. I need to wake up the divine within. I need to acknowledge the divine without. Using the full moon. Is it tomorrow, I think, the full moon? And, just being grateful. Look, I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed you guys all showed up. I do not take it for granted, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really do. You do fill me up. Your words of wisdom and encouragement lift me up. So, a lot of lyrics tonight. You do raise me up. And so until Thursday, and I will be here, I send you with love, with light, with healing, with compassion, with healing, with healing, with healing, physical, emotional, spiritual healing. I am grateful. May you be sprinkled with lots of laughter and joy and giggles. Until we meet again. I love you guys. I really do. You mean the world to me. I appreciate you so very much. And until next time, I was going to sing Joy to the World, but be well. Bye, guys.